Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will discuss the different phases involved in an investigation. I have made some learning objectives for this video, hoping you guys will understand everything and meet all the requirements listed. There are typically 4 stages involved when investigating a crime scene: identification and collection, acquisition of data, analysis, reporting, and presentation. However, if you use other sources on the internet, they could say there are more stages, but typically it is 4. In the next couple of slides, I will discuss each of the stages in more detail so you can gain a better understanding. The first stage is quite self-explanatory: identification and collection. During this stage, the investigator will walk around the scene and identify what type of system he/she are working with, such as the device's operating system. The investigator will also need to make the decision if they should turn the device off or not, because they don't want to alter the data stored on the device. I have covered different types of job roles involved in the investigation in my previous video if you want to gain a better understanding what an investigator's job role consists of. Phase 2 is acquisition of data. This consists of creating a copy of the data and only working on the copy and not the original, because we don't want to ruin the integrity of the data. If the data is not the same as the original copy, then data change has occurred. In the previous slide, I mentioned the investigator needs to make a decision. During this stage, when a device is identified, the investigator can do static or live acquisition, depending on the scenario. Live acquisition is the process of extracting volatile information presented in the registries, cache, and RAM of digital devices through its normal interface. The volatile information is data that can change with time, therefore the investigator should collect the data in real time. Static acquisition refers to the process of extracting and gathering the unaltered data from storage media. Sources of non-volatile data include hard drives, DVD-ROMs, USB drives, flash cards, and smartphones. When carrying out acquisition, it should be repeatable, which links back to ACPO Principle 3, where an audit trail or other records of all processes applied to digital evidence should be created and preserved. An independent third party should be able to examine them processes and achieve the same result. When carrying out acquisition, there are different formats that digital evidence can take. The format that digital evidence takes can be dependent on the forensic tool used to extract the data. For example, if I use autopsy, which is used by corporate examiners to investigate what happened on a computer, the format this software uses is RAW format. There are 3 types of formats evidence could be presented in, which are RAW format, proprietary format, advanced forensic format. RAW files contain uncompressed and unprocessed image data, capturing practically every detail. The RAW file format stores the largest amount of detail out of any raster file type, therefore it requires a lot of storage space. Also, other formats allow you to store metadata, but this isn't the case for RAW files. However, a major advantage of using this type of format is that it's supported by most of the computer forensic applications. A proprietary format relies on specific software to read the data and could not be read without that software. For example, if a company created a software and they disappeared in a few years and you had no longer access to that software, your data would be locked in that format and lost forever. However, using proprietary format has a lot of advantages, as it can compress image files, which you cannot do for RAW format files, and metadata can be stored within the image file. Also, most forensic tools have their own format, and an example of this is EnCase, which is one of the most common and popular forensic tools and uses format .eo1. AAF is a multimedia file format that allows you to exchange digital media and metadata between platform systems and applications. To ensure we are all on the same page, we have just covered different types of formats for storing digital evidence. Now we are going to look at the 4 methods of acquiring data for forensic analysis, which are disk to image file, disk to disk copy, logical disk to disk, or disk to data file, or sparse data copy of a folder or file. Creating a disk to image file is the most common method to collect data. It allows the investigator to create one or many bit-to-bit replications of the original drive. By using this method, we can use any of the forensic tools such as EnCase, FTK, X-Ray, Smart, SleuthKit to read the different types of disk to image files. Creating a disk-to-disk copy is used when a disk-to-image file faces hardware or software errors due to incompatibilities. It copies the entire disk to a newer disk by using any of the forensic tools such as Encase and SafeBack. These tools can adjust the target disk geometry to match the original drive. Creating a logical disk-to-disk or disk-to-data file. This is the preferred method when large data storage such as RAID servers are involved. This method captures only specific files or file types of interest to the case. It is used when time is limited. This method is used when you want to create a sparse copy of a file or folder. This method is similar to creating a logical acquisition, but it also needs to collect deleted data. This method is used when an investigator doesn't need to examine the whole drive. The next stage is analysis. Once the devices involved have been identified and isolated, and the data has been duplicated and stored securely, you are required to investigate the data by using different techniques, such as you could use file or data carving, which allows you to identify and recover deleted files by searching for the fragments that deleted files may leave. You could also use keyword searches. This uses keywords to identify and analyze information relevant to the investigation, including deleted data. There are other techniques that could be used, however, the aim is to try and reconstruct fragments of data and draw conclusions based on the evidence found. I have created a technique that can be used during the analysis stage to ensure all the criteria are met before you move on to the next stage. The final stage is documentation, where all the findings of the investigation are properly documented in a way that makes it easy to visualize the entire investigation process and its conclusion. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.